Welcome to Study Loop.
Okay, so problem 48 here has 5 parts, so it feels pretty daunting, but it starts with this equation, right? And this is an equation sort of for the free change of energy and sort of the reactions that are happening here in this during photosynthesis, right? So I'm just going to write it out as quickly as possible. And some of this is showing sort of the synthesis of NADP into NADPH and the ADP into ADT. Okay, so we start with this, and those are our reactants. Okay, and then the products are going to be some oxygen, right? Photosynthesis makes oxygen. We get some hydrogen ions, and then of course we get our NADPH and as well our ATP. Okay, so this is a photosynthesis, right? And so here, this first section, what we start with are our reactants. Try to squeeze that in there. And what we end up with, these are our products. Okay, so when we look at part A, it is asking us to identify the source of electrons to synthesize the NADPH, right? So we need those extra electrons. And what's happening is in photosystem 1, I apologize, in photosystem 2, it splits water, right? So you'll see that we're starting with water here. Okay, and this water, if we look at what's happening in photosystem 2, the water split is going to result in the oxygen and the 4 hydrogen ions, right? And so we started with something that was neutrally charged, and now we end up with something that is positively charged with these ions here, right? And so you can think of when we have a O2 molecule, each one of these is going to have the 6 electrons, and they can bond here so that they each have the 8 in their outer shell. And with the 4 hydrogens, though, each hydrogen has just the 1. Okay, so these 4 are going to find a way to share 2 electrons. Okay, so that their outer shell is full, and then we get 2 electrons sort of free. Okay. And so this sort of answers both A and B. Okay, so where is the source of the electrons? Well, it's from the breaking down of the water into oxygen and hydrogen ions, which leaves us with 2 extra electrons. And in fact, you'll often see this equation. You'll see this equation written a lot of the times as if it was 1 water molecule. You'll see this in textbooks a lot. Okay, with just the 2 hydrogen ions. Okay, so we'll get the 2 hydrogen ions, 1 electron, and then they'll say half of an oxygen, which seems a little counterintuitive, but then that way, working forward in the textbook, you're sort of working with just the 1 electron, and that can simplify later discussions. Okay, so part A is it comes from the water. Part B is that it's going to create 2 electrons. Okay, and then Then now it wants us to do a little bit of math, and it looks like I'll need a new screen here. And so we're given that, so for part C now, that the starting free energy for an electron is 77 kilojoules per electron. So this is for the reactant, so I'll just put an R there, right? And at the end, the products are going to end up with a negative 29 kilojoules per electron. And this is just given to us listed at the top, so it's nothing fancy in finding these numbers. Okay, but now we're trying to calculate the change, the free energy change, okay? And so if we want the change in free energy, so let's abbreviate that as FE, that's going to equal the free energy of the products, okay, minus the free energy of the reactants. And so in this case, it's going to be negative 29 kilojoules per electron minus 77 kilojoules per electron. Okay, and then a quick little trip to the calculator tells us that this is going to be a minus 106 kilojoules per electron. Okay, and of course we're just a little over halfway there because this is a 5-part question. So moving on to then part D. This one also gives us a few pieces of information. So this one's telling us that the free energy change, so the free energy change for ATP in the hydrolysis of it is negative 31.5 kilojoules per mole. Okay, and then similarly, the free energy change this time for the formation of the NADPH, this one's going to be equal to 18 kilojoules per mole. And so it's asking us then, and these are sort of the production of the reactants. And so what is the total? Well, much like if you purchase two things and you want to know the total, you add them together. We're just going to add these two together to get our total. Okay, and so that's going to be negative 13.5 kilojoules per mole. All right, and so then E sort of brings parts C and D together, and this is that the energy efficiency, okay, so the energy efficiency is going to be equal to the free energy produced. So this is our free energy produced, okay, which we found in part D, divided by our energy input. Okay, so this is the energy from part C. Okay, and so we put these together, so we get negative 13.5 kilojoules per mole. I'll divide that here by the negative 106 kilojoules per electron. And that's going to give us, squeeze it in here at the end, it's going to give us approximately 12.7% efficiency. Okay, so that's how we calculate all that.